what's up, guys? Triple C here. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Justin? Yes.
I thought I was Justin. No, I'm kidding. And welcome back to another episode of the J and J Show, where we talk about car world-related things. On today's episode, we are talking about the hot commodity that is eBay. What has eBay done? eBay has banned let me just make sure I get this. eBay bans non-emission compliant parts.
I am Joseph.
And I am Justin.
Gentlemen, this is the Justin and Joseph Show.
I forgot to pay the bills. Not again.
eBay has now banned, as I just said, eBay has now banned any non-emission compliant car parts, including any tuner parts, anything involving aftermarket exhaust and something that will, anything to do with disregarding the Clean Air Act, thanks to the EPA. And we're going to dive right into that right now. So Justin, I know you got a bunch of things right now, so give me your take on what you think is going on. A couple points.
Well, I think it's kind of understandable.
Everything going on. As I said, the EPA is more of the environmental protection something. I forget what the EPA stands for. The A at the end.
Agency.
There you go, agency. Talking about climate change and all the other crazy stuff that's been going on, and how we're transferring over to electric. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. It is kind of understandable. Sucky, but kind of partially understandable.
eBay could be charged for $5,000 per part sold.
Yes, that is correct.
And if you know anything about car guys, I can't say we because I don't actually have a project car, but this guy could spend money on multiple parts. He might walk away from eBay with 10 parts, and you got to think that's $5,000 for 10 parts.
Now, what does that mean? Now, what does the $5,000 mean? eBay is going to be charged by the EPA for $5,000 for the sale of any of these types of parts. So that means, as I said, if I walked away with 10 pieces of equipment from eBay, that is $50,000 that eBay will be charged for. Which, of course, in that case, yeah, why would you want to do something like that? You know, when I'm spending a couple $100 on an ECU tuner, and instead of getting some money for that out of the sale, they have to spend on top of that another $5,000. That to them definitely does not make sense, and I can see where they're coming from with that. But how stupid is that?
Yep.
In my opinion.
Let's see. The public should advise. So if you're watching this, you should advise this. eBay will not single-handedly stop the sale of emissions defeat devices. Now, this is common sense, and you guys are probably screaming at me for this. I know, but I just wanted to put that out there, so that way that is common ground we can walk on, and so everyone can kind of know that this whole eBay thing will not stop people from buying it.
Mm-hmm.
It probably won't stop a lot of you guys who might be watching from buying it, but yeah, it's a lot of people might just think, oh, well, we fixed that problem.
Mm-hmm. Not really, but yeah. So with that, just building off of that, the eBay with this being banned, yes, we are banning a very big marketplace for this stuff. It is definitely going to hinder a lot of selling and buying type situation. With eBay being so broad, being able to ship worldwide, statewide, nationwide, being able to sell on eBay is a huge bonus to people that have parts that they don't really need anymore. If you're trying to sell, again, I'm just bringing up just a simple ECU tuner or something that's like an aftermarket exhaust. Trying to sell something like that you don't need. Well, you have to go to Facebook Marketplace now, so people are going to have to go to different like websites to sell it, which is going to suck. because that also does kind of hinder sales on eBay. But that's just kind of how it is, and yeah. So
We could believe that it could lead to a black market parts empire. It could start something like that. Not to say there probably isn't one already, but it could definitely popularize them. Just kind of simple facts. I do not want to get into specifics of the black market. First off, I don't really know much about it, except for the fact that whatever is banned, that's where you find it.
now, what do you mean by black market specifically? Like, I know there's a lot of people out there that probably understand what black market is, but kind of talk to me in the aspect of I don't know what the black market is and how this can affect the, like, I guess you could say, the business of other people selling parts.
So, the black market is where you pretty much would find all these parts that would be banned. Assuming our belief, in quotation marks for this example, are correct, that means that you could find all of these exhaust spacer kits, all of these things that would be banned on there. Of course, there's plenty of other places to buy all this stuff on. eBay is just one out of 200 or whatever on the internet. But now that is probably a substantial margin of people that will now leave eBay and probably go onto the black market and either sell or buy or trade emissions defeat devices. Now, sure, that's all speculation, as you know, but honestly, it's not really too far-fetched when you think that there are plenty of markets, not really so much in the car market. Outside of the car market, you see that there are stuff labeled on the black market that is banned, that is being sold, despite the fact that they've already banned such things. That's all I'm going to say because this is a car-related show.
Yeah, and it's also, again, this is all speculated as well. So
yes. So take this all with a grain of salt and do your own research.
Exactly. Before you start talking about this, as we always do here at J&J Show, we always do our research first. That's why we make these comments as well. This is, again, that was just a comment, so just make sure to do your research.
Yep.
My opinion on the black market situation, I definitely agree with you on that. There could be a possibility with that, and like it says here in the notes, it does say it could be problematic because in the grand scheme of things, when people are going to now go to the black market for this stuff, just like he said, eBay loses users, that sucks. But on top of that, it could really hinder the sales of even other like tuner parts, like other people that are like tuning, with the tuner, like I guess you could say the mod shops and stuff like that. Like that's gonna suck. That's gonna be tough for people to start making that kind of stuff again, and the sales of that, because now they're gonna start, the EPA is gonna slowly start getting into that as well, which means that these businesses, if they are going to be getting into something, they will be going into the black market. Again, the black market aspect, again, we put on the quotations black market when we say this stuff. But this car part black market could become a really big thing with the sales of, illegal things. And again, in the future, what will happen is with these, whatever happens in the future, of course, things will be speculated as well. But if the black market does hit big, that is going to cause a huge problem for sales, and as well as, I guess you could say, the U.S. getting their little piece of money, just like they did with legalizing certain other things. They will start losing their little cut into things, and that'll cause problems for the economy as well. So this whole thing really could plan out to be the most negative thing possible, but again, we are only speculating here.
Yes.
So,
and obviously, just because of this one eBay thing, that doesn't immediately mean that this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is just talking about the gradual trend of this happening. So, on to the next one. We feel, over at the J&J Show, that more of an emphasis should be put on those who misuse such equipment. Stricter inspections on cars should help with this. I'm talking about the people when you're at your local Kroger or Wise Market or ShopRite, or any supermarket, and you see some idiot, driving around blowing coal everywhere.
Blowing coal, doing their rev limiters in their stupid cars that are cut off the cats and stuff like that. That type of situation.
Yes. So I think that is something that mainly the EPA would work on, because that seems like more on a government level than something eBay would do.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing, parts like a non-OEM ECU can be useful to amateur or professional racers. If you do racing, there's probably a high chance that you're nodding your head right now, because you probably have a non-OEM ECU in your car. Reason being is because probably the stock parameters are really not needed, or you think that they might be too much for your car, and that very well could be right. A lot of the people that are making these decisions have no idea about what responsible people will do with their cars. Some people use these ECUs, mainly I'm talking about the ECUs, not to defeat emissions, but rather to make a living or have a hobby. They're not hurting anyone if they just take out the car once of the year. Unlike the people, like I said in the last one, that are going around the supermarket being a-holes.
Mm-hmm. Which is a great point to bring up, just to continue off of this part. Which is a great point. Now listen, am I really talking about it in the big picture? Yeah, I'm going to be talking about this in a little bit of a big picture. What this EPA caused ban could do to the market of this kind of stuff. Banning the ECUs, well, as a great point that he brought up, people that do this for a living, examples. I'm bringing this in just because this is where I see modified ECUs. NASCAR, F1, every single one of those things that use these type of situations. Now, do they really use eBay to buy their parts? No, they go through certified dealers. They go through certified, shops and stuff like that. But with the EPA not just making their mark on eBay, that's one step to just getting into the smaller businesses and stuff like that. What's going to happen to that? What's going to happen to those racings, those drift events, the people that make money off of drifting, off of building cars, off of there's also people that go drag strips, where they make the drag strips. That's entertainment. That definitely, this is a rabbit hole that we can go down for ages. And with that aspect, saying, why do that? Why ban specifically these kinds of parts? Now, in the next part as well, we talk about this next little point that I'll let Justin get into. We talk about a little bit more of the parts that we understand and we don't understand why they banned. So I'm gonna stop, because as I said, I can go on a rabbit hole about this for ages. But to really cap it off, there's a lot of things that really could happen through this ban. So continue on.
Well, eBay should work on the contents of what is banned. Cat cutouts and spacers are understandable, which is true. You really don't need that on a car.
Spacers meaning exhaust spacers, right?
Exhaust spacers.
Not car spacers, because that's not banned. That modification is not banned.
No.
That's not an emission type thing.
That's understandable, but tuners and EFI kits should be recognized for older vehicles. EFI kits, I honestly think an EFI kit is a hell of a lot more efficient and probably slightly better for the environment than using a carbureted car. A car with a carburetor, just, not really that good for the environment. So, I think in the grand scheme of things, we should actually be promoting EFI kits instead of driving people away from them. I think this is a very good opportunity for the EPA to kind of show the amazing versatility of electronic fuel injection, or EFI, and its benefits it could bring to people all across the board, performance-wise and environmentally wise. Yes, so I feel like those two really don't make any sense. And the tuner, let people tune cars. I get that there should be some parameters, but I feel like that should be on a government level or a local level. I think there should be, like I said, the inspections on cars to make sure they pass certain emissions. I think that should be stricter. But race cars and off-road cars, you don't really need to bring them to inspection, I believe, because you're not really driving them on the road. So correct me if I'm wrong, but personally, I think a lot of this stuff is necessary, like the tuners and EFI. But there are things like straight pipe, straight pipe exhaust cutouts, all those like stupid things like that don't really add anything to your car, especially if you have a modern car and you cut your exhaust off. You're literally losing everything and putting yourself at risk because you're breathing in all those chemicals. So I agree with a lot of what eBay said. I think what eBay needs to do now is fine-tune it. Take your time, eBay, and fine-tune your search results. If you choose not to, we feel over here at the J&J show that you could possibly lose your ground to sites like Rock Auto, and probably some other sites, maybe even Facebook.
Black market.
Or the black market, or Facebook Marketplace.
Exactly. So this could be detrimental to a lot of things if not taken care of properly.
Yes. So that is our little thing on eBay. I know Joe has something.
Now, what I want to quickly just talk about is I have this article here from roadandtrack.com called eBay Bans Listing Non-Emissions Compliant Tuning Parts. I want to give credit to the writer, Lucas Bell, that created this little article November 18th of 2022, which is very recent. So that was, if I am correct, that was 8 days ago. I think it was like 9 days ago, something like that. I think it was like 9 days ago. And then what I want to quote in this is what the EPA's notice on the subject reads. So this quote is, as I said, from the EPA notice. This alert is intended to remind all the regulated entities that installing a defeat device or tampering with a motor vehicle or non-road equipment can be costly to their business and can subject them to enforcement and penalties. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, remains concerned that regulated entities are continuing to ignore the prohibitions against tampering in Section 203A, the Clean Air Act, and 40 CFR subsection 1068.101B. Despite the EPA resolving over 70 cases in the last 5 years, EPA has identified stopping aftermarket defeat devices for vehicles and engines as a national compliance initiative. While EPA continues to take enforcement against actions against automobile manufacturers for their emissions cheating, the focus on this national compliance initiative is on those who manufacturers sell or install aftermarket parts known as defeat devices, which bypass or render inoperative required emission control systems, resulting in significant increase in harmful air emissions. Further down in the notice, the EPA confirms that companies that voluntarily choose to remove this product from their business plan may be eligible to have any potential fines erased. So, that little second part from further to erased, further down, was part of the article. Now, what I was really talking about, what I got personally from that little spiel that the EPA notice had was they're not just going to be targeting just eBay. As I said before, they're going to start targeting smaller businesses, and people are going to get fined as well. Which, again, going back to the points that we brought up, the black market, the EFI kits, the things that we should be allowing, the spacers, the exhaust systems, and stuff like that. I can understand that again, but with the EPA really allowing this, with not allowing any emission defeat devices, this is definitely going to hinder a lot of smaller businesses, and as well as other people in the trade of, mod shops and modifications and stuff like that, that now brings down their versatility and their portfolio to either none or to just basic car mechanics, because there are also shops out there that not just specialize in oil changes and stuff like that. They also do, you know, performance mods and exhausts and other things like that. That will hinder their business, again affecting them negatively in the aspect of what makes them different from other shops. So that with this situation, it definitely seems like, if not properly taken care of, this really could cause serious problems with even just small businesses. So, in my personal opinion, the EPA really, if the EPA is really going to go down this path, they really have to do this right. If they don't do this right, they could really cause a lot of problems in the economy. Not just United States, but kind of also worldwide. So yeah, I think that's really kind of my opinion on it. Of course, that's just what I take from it. If you want to read that, as I said, it is on roadandtrack.com by Lucas Bell, when it was made on November 18th, 2022. First off, again, I want to give credit to the writer, Lucas Bell. I don't know the guy personally, of course, but I want to give him credit for writing the article. Check it out. Read what you believe. If you think that I misread the words, please be my guest. Drop them down in the comment section down below. No harm here. I'm all about opinions. I'm all about, you know, hearing other people's opinions as well. So don't worry. But that's really my opinion. I think this could definitely be a rabbit hole that could cause a lot of problems. What do you think?
I agree. I just say make sure to do your own research before you kind of, I don't really know how to explain it.
I guess get into arguments and understand the subject.
Yep. So, but yeah.
As you can see, we do have some positives. I guess you could say there are definitely some positives in this. Justin definitely brought up some good ones. But yeah, so
we're not against the EPA though. That's the
we're not against the EPA 110%. We are, or eBay either. You know, it definitely does suck what the situation is. But to be honest with you, it just has to be done correctly. If it's not done properly, something will fall. And that's what we personally, not just as car people, but also, like, you know, as an economy, we are kind of worried about. So we all hope for the best, but that's what we have right now. Again, of course, with details still being mistered and mustered around and taken care of, it definitely is. There could be more of the story unfolding. So, yeah, I think that's really it. I don't know if you have any final thoughts on this.
No.
So yeah, do your research, guys, and then comment down in the comment section down below what you guys believe about this eBay situation. Excuse me, and what you believe the future will hold for not just eBay but the whole aftermarket car part world. As I said, I did jump into that rabbit hole a tiny bit because it will be brought up sometime soon. Anyway, with that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Again, comment down in the comment section down below your opinion on what's going on with this eBay Motors. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's actually going to help? Do you think it's actually going to cause a mass hysteria and cause a whole lot of problems in the economy? Let us know. I want to hear everything you guys have. But with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Justin.
And we will triple see you later. Peace, guys.